I'm gonna start this off and say, growing in my relationship with God, I've definitely had to go over a really bumpy roller coaster of being extremely driven and then falling short, and then being extremely driven again and then falling short. And for a while, I would beat myself up, or, well, I should start by saying this. I was a person that is I felt very stressed is not the word. Ashamed is the word. I felt very ashamed whenever I did fall short in the glory of God, and I would feel too ashamed to face Him. But in my eyes, I thought I was facing Him, but I wasn't. And I think all of this anxiety and stress that I'm feeling is an attack from the enemy, but it's also just not important. It is not important. Because the God that I serve didn't create me to be stressed out. And the amount of stress that I feel like I hold is way more than I can handle. I felt so accomplished, I think, at the end of 2024 when I had my, it was the, couldn't have been the end of 2024, maybe like mid. I felt so accomplished when I had a 21-day streak on the Bible app. I felt so accomplished, and ever since then, I don't think I've ever had a 21-day streak, and that beats me up. But I also have to explain to myself that it's okay to fall short, but not to allow that forgiveness to continue to act in selfish ways. Because if I have, I'll say, like, I guess 12 hours because I sleep. No, I'll say like 13 hours. I sleep about 10 hours. If I have 13 hours in a day, personally, and I can't spend not 1 hour with God, then there's a problem. Because I can open my computer and watch Netflix or do schoolwork, though that is important, it's still secular. I can plan my future and open Pinterest and envision what I want it to look like, and not take into consideration what God might want it to look like. And I think that although it's not January, fresh in a 2025 mindset, let's do this, guys, whole year, we're gonna achieve all of our goals. I know it's a little too late to say that, and even then I don't think I'd want to say that because I wouldn't want to put those expectations on myself. I still feel like I am so glad that I'm still holding on to my faith. And I know through all of this stress and anxiety, I won't say depression, that's something you have to be diagnosed with, but I'll definitely say immense sadness. And immense sadness that I feel is very self-inflicted, because ever since I gave my life to Christ, it's been nothing but peace. I will say I've had other people in my family, close to my family, like family friends, and my own personal friends and romantic interests kind of have their problems kind of intertwine into my life. But I can't say that personally my life has not been anything but peace. I've known for a long time that I wanted to tell people about the glory of God. I wanted to reach people and give them a perspective, because I feel like when you're on the other end, you don't ever think it's gonna be you. When you hear all these people that have had similar situations to you or similar upbringings as you, and they go on to be all these great people, you never think it's gonna be you. I'm still having doubt that it is me, that I am somebody special. And I don't know how to explain this necessarily. I know that it is an attack from the enemy, but before I gave my life to Christ, I was very well spoken, and I did not stutter or stop or find nothing to say. I was very good at putting words together and saying exactly what I mean. When I gave my life to Christ, it all just came in a lot more. And for the first couple of months, I was very well spoken. And I've had a bunch of videos that I've made that I've never released, and nor do I have anymore because I was too embarrassed and deleted them. But they were amazing, in my opinion, and really displayed how well spoken I was and how well knowledged I was when talking about God. And I don't want to feel discouraged anymore. I don't want to hold myself back anymore. I feel like there's so many opportunities, or there's somewhere I could have been had I have listened and done the things I was supposed to do. I feel like I'm allowing the process to stress me out, and much less the end result. The whole point is to allow people to understand the glory of God, and to submit their lives to Christ, and to understand that they don't have to live life alone, and that they're never truly alone, but they have to allow themselves and believe in God that they are never alone. I've wanted nothing more but to help people ever since I was a little girl. When I was in, I believe, the 2nd grade, well, I'll say in general, in elementary school, I was bullied terribly. But I vividly remember in 2nd grade, I desperately wanted to help people. I watched YouTubers that made children's videos because I thought nothing more than to seeing children smile. I wanted nothing but happiness for young souls. And I'm now realizing that was probably God. How in the Bible it talks about how any person that corrupts the minds of children is a bad person. Well, obviously, I guess in a general statement that is true. I can't recall the exact line, even though the Bible's full of repetition. It's in many places. I can't recall where it's exactly now, but I know that it says that because I highlighted it. I'm sorry. I'm getting tired, but that's trying to throw me off. I'm not gonna get thrown off. But I've always wanted nothing but to help people. I wanted to create my own channel where I made kids videos and really interacted with children in 2nd grade, and I wanted nothing more but for children to feel like children. And following that, I wanted to be a veterinarian to help animals because of my love and compassion for animals. That's still a job career I'm considering, but it's also very unlikely. But I love animals, and I want nothing more but to see animals happy. And then as I got older, I wanted nothing more but to see adults happy. No, it wasn't. It was elders first. And then after I wanted to be a veterinarian, I wanted to work in an old folks home and I wanted to take care of grandmothers and grandfathers. I wanted to take care of them, especially after my own grandmother had to go in one for a couple days for treatment. After, I don't remember, but medically, it was a medical incident with her. And the doctors had recommended it. They didn't recommend that she come home yet because she wasn't better, but they also wanted her out of the hospital to create more room, so they moved her there. And they didn't feed my grandmother properly. And I know that there's probably been much worse done to other people. And I had empathy, which I feel like that's something I've been filled with since I was a kid now. Explaining this to myself, I had immense empathy, and I wanted to help. And I know I'm just one person, and God's the only one that can really control the situation and allow for things and not allow for things. But I still wanted to, I still wanted to be there and potentially think that I could stop these situations from happening. That I could be there to help grandmothers and grandfathers go to the bathroom and feed them correctly and treat them with the care that they probably still receive if they were at home with a loving family. I wanted them to not feel like they were in a poor situation with low health, or I didn't want them to feel like they had no family and no one to rely on. I wanted them to still feel good even if in that moment they didn't feel good. I wanted to give them some sense of hope even if they thought that they lost it, but I knew it wasn't my place to give them hope. It's God's place to give them hope. I'm just kind of a pointer in that direction kind of person. And following that was when I wanted to see adults happy. And I begun to realize the world and drugs and alcoholism and pain and hurt and murder and suffering and all of these detrimental things. And I wanted to work in a hospital where I could help people. And at the same time, I was thinking about being a psychologist where I could also help people. And I wanted these people to know that there's always going to be someone on their side if they are with me. I still carry this in my mind to people that I allow to be around me. I want them, the way I like to explain it is that you'll know if I don't like you, and if I like you a lot, you will also know. But the way that I treat you, there will never be any room for you to even assume I don't like you. That is how I treat people that are so close to me. Not even a drop of disrespect. And I know I'm mere human, I make mistakes, but there's still that part of me that doesn't want to make somebody feel like that. Especially when I've had to endure such and create trust issues. But that's not the topic of discussion for today. I honestly don't know what the topic of discussion is right now. I just kind of turned the camera on and started talking about God, and it led me here. Sorry. And I'm no longer gonna allow myself to walk in being ashamed. I'm no longer going to allow myself to feel embarrassed. Because what can man do? What can people do? There are certain people in this world that are meant to reach certain people. Some people are not meant to reach everybody, the same way I'm not meant to reach anybody. But if I do reach people, I just want them to know that I will stop allowing myself to be stuck, and I will make the necessary steps in spreading God's word. Because it's been too long, I've just been sitting down. God has always put so much on my heart in all I've written and made voice notes and content that I've posted and deleted or never posted. It's all gonna change now. I'm sorry, it's so late at night. It's all gonna change now, and I'm going to start now. Because you just have to do it. There is no right time. Even if I'm not being very specific right now, I'm sure you could apply that same phrase to whatever situation you're in. There is no right time, you just have to do it. And that there's never going to be a right time. You have to make that space. As men, we have choice. And I choose to start now in the direction of my future. To add on to this, if you feel like God is speaking to you directly in doing something, and you feel all of these negative feelings and try to make excuses of reasons why you shouldn't do it, just ignore those feelings and do what God is telling you to do. Because really think, when has it ever gone good when somebody did something, well, didn't do something God told them to do and did something God did not tell them to do? No. Won't be me. Won't be you either, I hope. But I feel as if it is the right step, and it's the step that you need to take. Whatever it is in your life, it is a step that is necessary. And I hope if anybody can learn from me to just please allow themselves to do what God has asked them to do. You don't need a reason. You don't need a direction necessarily. You still kind of need one, but not necessarily. You don't always need to know where you're going. You don't always need an answer to everything. You just have to do it. And take that brave and confident step, because the world waits on nobody, but God is waiting forever. The world will keep spinning, and God will always make a place for you in His kingdom if you let Him. Your world doesn't have to stop spinning, and you won't have to live in an eternal separation. And not saying that a decision can do all that, but a decision can sure make a heck of a difference for the direction of your life. Because you never know what could happen. You never know what could do. Because in a choice, in most cases, there's always a right choice. And there's always a wrong choice in most cases. So I shouldn't say the word always. In some cases, there's a right choice and a wrong choice. But when it comes to God, what God says is always the right choice. What God tells you is always going to be the right choice. And don't hold yourself back because of fear. Don't hold yourself back because of stress. Don't hold yourself back. Allow yourself to move forward. Allow yourself to take that step, whether it's scary. Because you shouldn't be scared when God is holding your hand, helping you. Now I'm done.